the Austin Mini, the Volkswagen Beetle, and the Ford Mustang. These three vehicles may seem very different, and they really are, but they actually have one thing in common. The three of them are pioneers in their respective classes. The Mini Cooper pioneered the front-wheel drive layout, the layout that we see in so many vehicles today. The Beetle was, well, the original and most successful people's car. And then the Mustang, it was the one that pioneered the pony car class. But there's one more car name that I would like to mention up in that same list, and that's this, the Toyota RAV4. Now you may be wondering why we're putting the RAV4 up against, well, in the same category basically as the Cooper, the Beetle, and the Mustang. And that's because the RAV4 is a pioneer in its own class. The RAV4 undeniably started the compact crossover trend, meaning it was the first vehicle to mix the practicality, the body of an SUV with the unibody construction of a car that gave you the size, the practicality, and the comfort of a car, and an SUV all in one package. So that means also that the CR-V, the Tucson, the CX-5, all those compact crossovers owe it to the RAV4 that started it all. And now we've got the new version from Toyota. And let's go see how this new Toyota RAV4 by 2 gets on. The interior of the RAV4 has actually changed dramatically from the last model. It's actually a lot more Camry-ish, but with a bit more practicality thrown in. I mean, right off the bat, I can see it's got a big center pocket here, or whatever that is, a recess for your phone. In the higher grade model RAV4, it actually has a charger there, or a wireless charger for more advanced smartphones. In my case, it won't work because my phone's still an iPhone 7, but it's a nice touch, if you do get the more expensive models. Now, again, like the most expensive models also come with sunroofs, things like that, more advanced stuff, more expensive stuff. But the way this RAV4 LE is already kitted out, it's actually already pretty nice. Again, plenty of pockets, plenty of storage. You've got steering wheel audio controls, Bluetooth, you've got a multimedia system here. You've got your 8-speed automatic, the shifter for it right here. And it's got 3 modes for driving: Eco, Normal, or Sport. Well, in the case right now, we're driving Eco because we're trying not to spend any fuel, or at least as little as we can. But if you do put it to Normal, it's not too bad. I mean, it's pretty much the same. But if you put it to Sport, well, you can have quite a bit of fun, especially if you have corners. We won't try it here in Subic because we don't want to pick up any kind of speeding tickets. Everything else, a digital air conditioning system is not too bad. It's not the automatic variety that you would get in the more expensive models, but it's plenty. It's it's powerful even for this kind of weather. Right now, it's reading 37 degrees outside. Not very pleasant if you're in the sun like we just were, but definitely the AC system is coping even now with one of its lowest settings. Legroom in front, you're pretty comfortable. The ergonomics are nice. The steering wheel is right here. I can see the gauges clearly. It feels great to be in here, and it also harkens back to to the older RAV4. So when you think about how small they were, how far they've come since that time in the mid-90s when all these crossovers started, with the RAV4. Started popping up, and now it actually feels like an executive car in here. It just happens to be that little bit taller with a bit more space. And again, if they can maximize the kind of cargo space you would have in the same footprint as a big sedan, I'm all for it. It's actually quite fitting that we're in Subic driving the RAV4, and that's because the RAV4 was made for adventures like these. It's not the name itself, the name RAV4 is recreational activity vehicle, and that's what Subic is all about. You're supposed to go out here for the weekend, spend a few days, or maybe come here for an afternoon. You can do that now with all our new expressways. And you come here, have some food, and enjoy your time in the sun. Maybe even go sailing or do some surfing. I don't know if they have surfing here, but that's what this was made for. It was made for activities. It was made for you to go on these little adventures over the weekend. Enjoy yourselves, get out of work, get out of the city, and that's what we're doing now. Although we are still working, so well, we'll still enjoy it anyway. Now we're driving the 2019 Toyota RAV4 on the Subic Tarlac Expressway, and it's a lot smoother than before. I mean, the RAV4 was always, a good drive on a highway, and that's because it's a crossover, meaning it has the manners of a car, but the body of an SUV, or in this case, a 5-door wagon. So it marries the benefits of two worlds, of an SUV and a car, and with the new platform that Toyota is using for the RAV4, they call it the TNGA, or Toyota New Global Architecture. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it really does work. I mean, I can feel it right now. It's a lot more stable here on the highway. It doesn't get easily bumped off course. No major corrections when it comes to driving it in a straight line, even when it's quite windy like it is now. And also, Toyota has a new kind of steering system in this vehicle. They call it a parallel rack system. And it has a speed-sensitive function, which is cool because the faster I go, the tighter it gets, and it feels a lot better. You're not you feel like you're in a bigger car, a more stable car, and that's a pretty good thing, especially with the bigger expressway network like we're getting here in the Philippines. Powering the RAV4 is a new engine. It's a 2.5 liter. It's naturally aspirated, but it has 203 horsepower. So if you actually step on it, it has quite a bit of go. I mean, of course, I've got a bit of weight in the car, with myself and 3 other passengers, but it's definitely not a slouch. It's got some speed to it. It's got some decent acceleration, and it has an 8-speed automatic gearbox driving the front wheels. Now, some may be wondering that the RAV4 is no longer a 4x4. At least what we're getting in the Philippines is no longer a 4x4. But again, you don't really need a 4x4 on the highway, and if you really want to go off-road, well, you may want to look elsewhere. Instead of the RAV4, maybe an FJ Cruiser or a Prado or a Land Cruiser. Now, Toyota's new platform, the TNGA, it's going to be at the heart of every or many of Toyota's models from here on out. But the execution in the RAV4, I think, is going to be one of the biggest benefits with this new generation model. Because in the city, it's already proven that it's a lot more comfortable. There's a lot less shake, it's a lot less vibrations. It seems like a very stable base on which, or with which to build a vehicle. But well, right now we're up in a winding portion of road, and we're gonna see just how well this new RAV4 performs. It's not gonna be that fast, but it actually feels very stable, even when you're accelerating while turning, which it shouldn't really do that much. Overtaking with the new engine and the 8-speed gearbox, again, very easy. And mind you, this road, it's a corrugated road, or it's a very bumpy road because a lot of trucks pass by it. But you can barely feel it, and that's very surprising because with the original RAV4, the shorter wheelbase, you can feel a lot more of the bumps, and it can be disconcerting in a way. But with the new RAV4, it feels just great. So yeah, it's kind of perfect that we're driving the RAV4 here. And you know, it's also a lot better. I mean, thankfully, after 20 years of development, the RAV4 has never been this good. You know, it's so great on the highway. You know, it's so great on a winding road, and it's perfect for a tight urban area like this. I mean, let's face it, Subic is not exactly a very wide place when it comes to roads. You know, you need to have a bit of maneuverability. You don't want to be driving anything too big, although it's quite an American. It's a former American base, meaning it has nicer streets, wider streets. But generally speaking, on a place like this, you want something just the right size, and the RAV4 is that size. The only thing we really need now is to have a couple surfboards on the roof, but I don't exactly surf. The important thing about the RAV4, and we cannot stress it enough, is the new platform. It's really all about making it drive so much better than before. Let me show you. In a lesser car, when you're driving hard and cornering hard, the electronics, the traction control, the ABS, they're all gonna light up. And that speaks of a car that's not very well sorted when it comes to engineering and dynamics. Now, in a car like the RAV4, well, we're going to show you that it's not actually even going to light up. If you do it properly, the car the crossover is already well sorted, well engineered to be able to handle cornering and hard driving. Let's show you. All right, so drive hard. See? All right. Coming to a corner is pretty fast. Brake, turn in, no understeer. It actually just turns pretty sharply. And then here's another corner. Brake hard, turn in, no traction control, nothing. It speaks of a vehicle that's already well sorted out from the very beginning. And that's quite rare for a crossover. Only a few vehicles that I know of can do it like that. And we're still a front-wheel drive. And that's pretty cool. And because it's so well sorted out, very good dynamics already from the beginning. The traction control, it's only there as a safety net. The ABS, it's only there as a safety net. If you get your driving right, and if you're driving, fairly casually, or even if you're driving fairly hard, the RAV4 is going to reward you with some pretty enjoyable handling. So what more can we say about the 2019 Toyota RAV4? We like the looks. That much is clear. We like how it's edgy. We like these power bulges. We like the interior. They could have done a bit more when it comes to the door panels because they are plastic. But again, these are necessary compromises for the sake of value. We like the way it drives. The new platform is indeed excellent. I mean, there's no other way to put it. The new TNGA architecture, it just works so very well in the city, on the highway, and even when you're cornering. The model we're driving here is the base model, but you wouldn't actually feel it. I mean, you have all that you need: Bluetooth, the audio system, the powerful AC, and you have a long list of advanced safety equipment at your disposal, 7 airbags included. Overall, the RAV4 delivers as expected. It is a properly well-suited crossover utility vehicle for everyday driving or whenever you're going out of town. Now, if you like what we're doing here at AutoIndustriya, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Instagram and Twitter. This is Vince of AutoIndustriya. Thank you very much for watching.